welcome you to this webinar on Mongolia's business opportunities, co-organized by the Mongolian National Chamber of Commerce and Industry and CACCI. We thank CACCI for this opportunity to present Mongolia's economic outlook and business opportunities. The opening remarks will be delivered by Mr. Peter McMullin, President of CACCI, and Mr. Lkhagvajav Baatarjav, President of MNCCI.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's Peter McMullin here. I'm the President of the Confederation of Asia-Pacific Chambers of Commerce and Industry, and I'd like to take this opportunity to not only welcome you all here, but to thank MNCCI and the CACCI Secretariat for organising this very important session. And I'd like to acknowledge also the MNCCI President, and it's great to have you here. And I recognise all the participants who have joined us today from across our wonderful Asia-Pacific region. Now, I speak today, as I've said, as President of the Confederation of Asia-Pacific Chambers of Commerce and Industry, known as CACCI, and it connects chambers and businesses across the region, as many of you will know. And our focus is really on strengthening cooperation, enabling trade and building partnerships between all our member countries. The signature feature of my presidency has been the set agenda with sustainability, entrepreneurship and trade. Sustainability is about businesses needing to transition to more sustainable models. Entrepreneurship, our young entrepreneurs are driving innovation in the region, and trade, where trade builds trusts, businesses become the merchants of peace. So this is where Mongolia comes in, and it really represents a dynamic and evolving economy. And there are many opportunities across resources, the digital economy, the emerging private sector. And it's increasingly important within the Asia-Pacific business landscape. Now, within our CACCI organisation, there's a youth arm called YIGAP, and it's very active across the region. And in Mongolia, for example, an old friend of mine, Kulan Davadoj, is a leading example in building her brand, her skincare brand, L'Amour, using yak's milk from nomadic communities. This reflects both tradition, innovation, and purpose-driven entrepreneurship. And it was a joy when she joined us recently in Japan. So CACCI is keen to deepen our engagement with Mongolia. We're planning a presidential visit in late 26 or early 27, and we look forward to working closely with MNCCI and meeting business entrepreneurs while we're there. So I encourage everyone to engage in today's speakers and explore all the issues that you're going to discuss. CACCI remains committed to Mongolia, regional cooperation, and the future-focused business. Thank you for being here. Thank you for having me. And I'm sorry I can't be there in person, but I wish you a very productive session.
Эрхэм CACCI-гийн ерөнхийлөгч, эрхэм гишүүн, танхимуудын төлөөлөгчид, хүндэт ноёд хадагтай нараа та бүхэнд өнөөдрийн амар амгалан айлтгая. Өнөөдрийн хуралд оролцож, Аз намхан далайн бүс нутгийн бизнес хамтын нийгэмлэгийн эрхэм түншүүдтэйг уулзаж, Монгол улсын бизнес хөрөнгө оруулалтын боломжийн талаар сан солилцох боломж олгож байгаад бид баяртай байна. Монголын үндэсний худал ажлын 1960 онд байгуулагдсан бөгөөд өнөөдөр Монголын хувийн хвшлийн гол төлөөллийн байгууллага болж 6800 гаруй гишүүн компанитайгаар олон улсын худалдааг хөрөнгө оруулалтыг дэмжих чиглэлээр идэвхтэй үйл ажиллагаа явуулж байна. Монголын үндэсний худал ажлын танхим дэлхийн болон бүс нутгийн олон байгууллагуудтай хамтран ажилладаг бөгөөд Аз намхан далайн худалдаа ажлын танхимуудын холбоо буюу CACCI-гийн гишүүн байгууллагуудын нэг юм. CACCI Аз болон намхан далайн бүсийн үндэсний танхимууд бизнесийн холбоодыг нэгтгэсэн бүс нутгийн чухал платформ болж бизнесийн хамтын ажиллагааг дэмжих зорилготой байгууллага юм а. Манай хоёр байгууллагын хамтын ажиллагаа 1997 оны 11 сард Чэжүү арал болсон CACCI-гийн 58 дугаар зөвлөлийн хурлын үеэр Монголын үндэсний худалдаа ажлын танхим нь тус холбооны үндсэн гишүүнээр элссэн түүхтэй. Үүнээс хойш бидний хамтын ажиллагаа улам өргөжин хөгжиж ирсэн бөгөөд 2002 онд эдийн засгийн хөгжлийг дэмжих төр хувийн хвшлийн түншлийг бэхжүүлэх нь сэдвүүнд оруулсан CACCI-гийн 64-р зөвлөлийн хурлыг Улаанбаатар хотноо амжилтаар зохион байгуулж байсан. CACCI нь Монголын бизнес эрхлэгч залуу энтерпренeur дэмжих чухал үүрэг гүйцэтгэж ирсэн. Тухайлбал 2016 онд Лембер компани үүсгэн байгуулагч хатагтай даваг дөржийн хул нь CACCI-гийн дэргэд зохион байгуулагдсан номхондлоо залуу энтерпренeur шагналыг хүртсэн нь Монголын бизнес эрхлэгчдийн бүс нутгийн төвшөнд гарч буй амжилтыг харуулсан онцлог үйл явдал юм а. Мөн Монголын үндэсний худалдаа ажлын тахимч жилбэр зохион байгуулагдсан энтерпренeur шагнал гардуулах ёслолын үеэр нэгэн шилдэг компанид CACCI-гийн award гардуулдаг уламжлалтай. Өнгөрсөн жил энэ шагналыг Mobicom Corporation хүртсэн бөгөөд энэ нь Монголын компаниуд бүс нутгийн бизнесийн хамтын нийгэмд идэвхтэй оролцож байгааг илэрхийлж байна. Сүүлийн жилүүд бид CACCI-гийн гишүүн танхимуудтай хамтран Монгол улсын бизнес хөрөнгө оруулалтын боломжийг олон улсын бизнесийн хамтын нийгэмд танилцуулах чиглэлээр хамтран ажиллаж байна. Тухайлбал 2024 онд CACCI болон Монголын үндэсний худалдаа ажлын тангим хамтран Монголын бизнесийн орчин сэдэвт вебинарыг зохион байгуулж бүс нутгийн гишүүн танхимуудтай мэдээлэл солилцсон билээ. Өнөөдрийн вебинар нь бидний хамтын ажиллагааг улам бэхжүүлэх, харилцан дуршлаг солилцох, шинэ түвшинлэл бий болгох чухал боломж болно гэдэгт итгэлтэй байна. Энэхүү арга хэмжээг зохион байгуулж буй CACCI-гийн болон оролцож буй бүх гишүүн танхимуудад чин сэтгэлийн талархал илэрхийлье. Та бүхэнд үр өгөөж амжилттай вебинар хүсье.
So today's webinar will feature two speakers. Our first speaker, Ms. Saruul Bulgan, Secretary General of MNCCI, will present an overview of Mongolia's business and investment opportunities. Our second speaker is Mr. Unambat Baatar, Chief Strategy Officer of Mobicom Corporation. I want to say that Mobicom is celebrating its 30th anniversary these days, and we are pleased to note that the company received the Silver Mercury Award of CACCI in 2025.
So, good afternoon, our distinguished guests, members of CACCI and colleagues who are joining us online today. It is a great honor to join you today and speak at this webinar, and I'd like to begin by expressing my sincere appreciation to the Confederation of the Asia-Pacific Chambers of Commerce and Industry for bringing together this dynamic network of business leaders, stakeholders across the region. CACCI plays an important role in promoting regional cooperation, trade, and private sector development across Asia and the Pacific. And platforms like this are especially valuable at a time when connectivity and collaboration are more important than ever. So let us begin the presentation, Business and Investment Environment in Mongolia. So I'll start with the economic overview, business snapshot, and explain a bit about why Mongolia and investment climate, and go on to possible opportunities and the projects that the government announced at the national level and at the Ulaanbaatar city municipal level. But first and foremost, I would like to briefly introduce about our Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So the Mongolian National Chamber of Commerce and Industry has been around for 65 years. We celebrated our 65th anniversary last year, and we cater to 6,800 currently member companies, and our companies basically provide 90% of Mongolia's NGO GDP and 70% of workforce. And we have branches in each and every province in Mongolia. So we are mandated by law to do the policy advocacy and promote exports and investments into Mongolia. So economy at a glance, GDP of Mongolia has reached $25.4 billion in 2025, and GDP per capita has been reached $7,200. So, and in World Bank category, we are now upper middle income country. And the growth has reached last year 6.8% of expected 5.4%, and we expect 5.6% in 2026. And this growth is majorly driven by growth in the agriculture sector and services. So Mongolia has an open economy, and annually we trade with around 160 economies. And last year, the trade turnover was $27 billion with exports of $15.7 billion and imports of $11.3 billion. As you may know, Mongolia is sort of mining dependent country. And so exports majorly are coking coal, copper, and gold, iron ore, and other minerals. And because of that, the government of Mongolia has been also prioritizing export of non-mining goods. There are 4 big projects being implemented, driven by the initiative of President of Mongolia, and they're giving already their results. And last year, our cashmere exports have reached $340 million, whereas live animals and meat products have reached $226 million. And some live animals and meat are, I know, directed to Southeast Asia, specifically to Vietnam and other countries. We import around 11 billion worth of products, and so 2.1 billion is petroleum products, crude, which is coming from Russia, and passenger cars and trucks, 1.5 billion, which is coming mostly from Japan. In the food items, flour, rice, pastry, then beverages, and so on. So with Southeast Asian countries, the overall trade last year has been $410 million, which is considerably, less than we would have expected, and where major imports are rice, sugar, and all those staples, and major exports are meat, usually lamb and goat meat, then bones and bone powder. But I mean, for a big market of 700 million population, so there's great potential for our cooperation in future. So number 6, whereas obviously, just to give a perspective, put here numbers for China, and obviously we are neighboring, and 90% of mining products go to China, the copper and coal, and whereas we import 4 billion of products, majorly vehicles, electronics, and so on. So foreign direct investment, very critical in development of our economy. And this is also driven by development in mining sector. You can see that 75% of foreign direct investment went into mining development exploration. And so far, the cumulative amount stands at $50 billion. We are working, together with our partner organizations to increase the investments, and we hope and we look forward to more investments from our Southeast Asian partners. And currently, credit rating stands at BB-. This is the S&P Global ratings, and this is more or less quite similar to Vietnam, Georgia, if we compare regional countries. Move on to why Mongolia. Why should you invest or cooperate with Mongolia, invest in Mongolia? Well, we consider ourselves, Mongolia, to be an ideal access to Asian and increasingly Eurasian markets. And we are a landlocked country out of, I believe, 32 landlocked countries. And our air connection is improving year on year. Mongolian national carrier has increasing its fleet. So within a few hours, we can reach basically 50% of global market by customer share. So we do invite international investors to establish joint venture companies in Mongolia. We are located between 2 major markets, China and Russia. And as I said, we also have reached to our Central Asian neighbors. We are standing at number 3 in total coal exports and 7th largest in reserves, untapped reserves. Then 5th in copper ore exports, 36th with gold exports. So there's great potential in the mining area. But besides that, we are also in agricultural country as well. So we provide 40% of the global cashmere, combed cashmere, de-haired cashmere. And also we have high quality organic meat, wool, and dairy products. So to elaborate further on the mining opportunities, the 5%, you would imagine, the landmass of Mongolia is quite huge, but only 5% are under licenses, which means there is also a great potential for the companies with mining expertise to explore and mine in Mongolia. As you can see, we have great reserves in critical minerals. Also, it's a new and up-and-coming kind of area of international interest here in Mongolia. Also, green growth is a very important part of our policy. And so total renewable energy estimated potential is 3,300 gigawatt. And solar energy resources, we have abundant wind energy resources. And wind especially is very well researched. And there's tons of research available, very good ones conducted by ADB and other major international banks. So currently, the 90% of local power is generated by thermal power plants, and only 9% are renewable energy, and majorly that is wind resources. So also there is a big potential of PPP projects that are up and coming. Mongolia has 4 free trade agreements which cover 27,534 types of goods and products. For example, we have established a free trade agreement, so EU GSP Plus, where customs tariffs are reduced for 7,200 products to European Union countries. And in 2024, the total turnover was $1 billion. And in all of these agreements, there's a big trade deficit, and the government and private sector is looking to decrease the deficit. So majorly the exports are of Kashmir goods, and imports usually foodstuff coming from EU. Then with Japan, we have an economic partnership agreement. So we've just celebrating 10th year this year. So also the deficit there, but the major imports are basically the automobiles. With Asia Pacific, we have a trade agreement which covers South Korea, China, India, Bangladesh, Laos, Sri Lanka. But I have to say that most of the trade goes on with Korea and China. And total turnover is $19.8 billion. Finally, last year in 2025, December 12th, the Parliament has ratified a interim free trade agreement with 5 Eurasian Union states: Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Armenia, Belarus, and Russia. The tariffs are nullified for 367 types of goods, which majorly 90% is the agricultural goods. So briefly about the tax environment, we have by World Bank doing business report below average in corporate tax rates, so basically 10%. But if you see the certain amount, majority of companies pay 10% of tax. Double tax treaties we have with 26 countries, and investment protection and promotion agreements with 44 countries. So what are the business collaboration opportunities besides the ones I've mentioned earlier? The government announced 14 so-called mega projects, and if any of our participants here are interested, you can email us and we will provide information. And also the UB City, Ulaanbaatar City Municipality has announced 24 mega projects. Some of them have already started, but some of them are in pipeline, and they do international tenders, and we can also connect interested companies with the municipality. So lastly, the vast opportunities also in agriculture sector. I mean, we are the nomadic country, and each year we basically count about 60 to 70 million, depending on the year, heads of livestock, where 24 million sheep, then 23 million goats, and so on. Meat supply is a priority for the government, and the ministry says there's a potential of 50 to 200,000 tons of meat products. But last year in 2025, we have exported a record number, which is 90,000 ton of meat, and which was mainly directed to Central Asia, a few of the Gulf countries, and Southeast Asia. Also, there's a potential in collaboration on cashmere production, leather industry, fodder production, which can be then exported to Japanese markets. So we are already having steady increase in influx of investors who are interested in areas of agriculture sector in Mongolia. So if you're interested, if you need any information, the Chamber of Commerce is the destination to link you with potential collaborators in Mongolia.
First of all, may I introduce myself? My name is Unumbat. I'm from Mobicom, and I'm the Chief Strategy Officer of the Mobicom. And I really thank you for your having me today, this session. So, and then also this year, as Saruul mentioned about it, our 30 years anniversary of the Mobicom Group this year. So, and then this anniversary starts very nice news, and then which we are getting the CACCIs and awards from Mongolian MNCCI. So that's for us is very much the good start of the year. So that's we all motivated from the awards. So okay. So Mobicom actually, as mentioned in here, so we established it in 1996. So actually, Mobicom is one of the best, the classic example of that foreign investment into Mongolia. So we are owned by the KDDI group from Japan. Initially established together with 2 Japanese shareholders and then 1 local companies. Now today, after 30 years, 89% is owned by KDDI group, and then we are fully dedicated for the Mongolian telco business. Presentation is including those contents, and I slightly brief about the Mongolia, so it's already mentioned, but this is about who we are and as a Mobicom group, and then especially connecting with the 5G network, so and then how it will be impact to our business also in Mongolia. So this is the Mongolia. So you can see that the Mongolia is the very vast territory countries. So you can visit to Mongolia anytime. So very open countries, and then especially these pictures are mostly about our winter time. So winter is very nice and clean and white, and you can go any closest in city areas. You can see that in these mountains and the animals and everything. In terms of size-wise, it's 1.5 million kilometers, so which is a very big country. So, and I give you the one example. So in terms of the coverage wise, in Mongolia is only 23% of them is covered by network. So which means 77% of the countries are just like the wild nomadic environment. So, and the population wise is the 3.5 millions, which is keep growing, and after the 1990s, the shift into democracy. So in this country is starting on so many private sectors and companies. So that's why the one of the oldest one is now is reaching 35 years anniversary. So for example, our company is 30 years anniversary. So therefore, the last 30 years is Mongolian, the private sector is now growing together with our country. So, and also that here is mentioned about that our GDP is 26.7 billion US dollars, and then our economic growth is 5.5%. So actually an up and down, and then usually Mongolian economics is they keep growing, and then we also believe that the next 5 years is continues to grow the Mongolian markets. This is about the Mobicom, and Mobicom actually group companies. We are focusing on the 4 main domains. One is the mobile domain, which is the core business, and we do have the 1.8 million customers out of 3.5 million, and then also the market share wise is around 42.3%. And in terms of that, the populated areas coverage is already reached 99%. So which is in Mongolia is one of the modern and then sophisticated connected internet and then mobile and nationwide. So, and also we do have that international transit business in cloud business. So we already connected in through our two big neighbors, Russia and China. So in our international transit business. So in other businesses that we do have the home and media domain, and we do have that the home broadband and TV and video streaming and music streaming business. So which is they giving us the to our customers more value added the bundle products in terms of that the engage it to our that the whole the group company's product. The next one is that we are also focusing on the enterprise domain. And actually, Mobicom Group is the already reached in more than 60% of the market share of in terms of the enterprises. And then we have some dedicated solution for our that enterprise business. So, and also that we are very much close cooperating with our international partners and vendors in terms of the creating the new type of the managed service to our customers. So also we do have that the tier 3 standard data centers. So, and then we do have the redundancy data centers, and which gives us the more the advantage to increasing our that business in especially nowadays the AI and then the data and the 5G and the blockchain technology. So another business domain is the financial domain. So this is we also have the quite pioneer in this market, and we do have that the two NBFIs which have the license and granted by the Central Bank of Mongolia. So we do have the e-money license, in the first e-money license in Mongolia. So therefore we can provide that the payment service to our customers, not only the mobile customers, also the nationwide. So as of today, the financial businesses have already more than 500,000 customers. So, for example, just last year we launched it in 5G in Mongolia. So it's after it was took more than 2 years to announce that the tender purchase, and then finally we granted in 5G coverage. So then thanks to this 5G coverage, it's a very short period, and just within 7 months, we already reached in the 60% of market share of the 5G in Mongolia. So, which is gives us much more that how to say, engage it and then the increase it in ARPU in our side. So this example is very rare in the world, and if anyone from the telco industry. So, and this is giving us a very big opportunity to enhance our business. So therefore, based on the 5G, so I'll show you that the next slide is about what kind of product we are now producing. For example, based on the 5G, our fixed network is and comparing to our competitors is not, how to say, competitive enough. So therefore, after we launching the 5G, so we are launching and also FWA, so which is fixed wireless access. So which is can give us the more connected service into our the suburban and then also the countryside and home service. So that through these services we are more eligible to provide our the TV content and internet service and the smart home. So this is that's one of the way we are utilizing the 5G technology into our company, into our country. So the next one is that we also that not only focus on the telco oriented business. Starting from last year, we are leveraging on our the 1.8 million subscriber. So we are the first ever introduced it as a telecom operator together with the life insurance companies. We are introducing the life insurance product. So which is very new, and then however and thanks to our combined in this the bundle service, we already registered more than 100,000 customers. So this is the very short period and not even reached to 6 months. But the customers, engagement of the life insurance product is given to us more, increasing on our ARPU side, and then also that the engagement with the future customers. So this product itself is including several different type of product. One of our initial product was the cancer insurance, and the second one is the income protection insurance. So, and then the third one is the mortgage insurance. So these three product is the only within this period already reach it in 100,000. And then in the furthermore, we are now preparing that the more different type of the product, because that the customers already they adapted this new type of the product, and then even expecting more different type of product from us. So therefore, if someone who is doing the telco business, I would suggest that this kind of the differentiated product is more how to say appreciated by our customers. So, another product we called Jopra. So this is based on our 4G and the 5G technology. So we are using our the base station data. So to provide into enterprises kind of the customers movement data. So having this data is that for example, the convenience stores, if they want to expand the business and then the next time, so where is the people's movement is going through that area? So then we give this data analysis. So and then based on that, any enterprise business can make decision. So where should I open the next branch, or where should I focus on the next branch? So that is that product. And of course, that having this thanks to this 5G network. So we are also now focusing on that AI technology. So we already introduced in our internally employee usage 24/7 AI product we already launched. So having this one is that our all employees can to get the access in the data from the internal data source using our mobile AI. And another one is that recently we also launched that through our application customer personal AI assistant. So which is if customers want to contact with our the business, they no need to approach or no need to contact to our contact center. Instead, they're just using our application to communicating with AI. They can enjoy that and they can get sales from our all the products. So this one is also the very newly introduced product, and which also they very much appreciated the customers. And next one is that the telco companies are without fintech is basically impossible. So therefore, in order to engage our customers in terms of that the financial necessity and then all this other financial product, we launched the fintech and then lifestyle product, and which gives us that customers are eligible to get in many different types of products. So in here is only we mentioned about it, the e-commerce and the loan services. So besides that, the customers now get so many different type of the products and through our application. So actually, Mobicom, we do have several application, and which is our main platform, and which we call this one is, for example, MonPay application, and we call Super App. And through this Super App is that every customer, and not only the Mobicom customers, all other telco customers can join into this application to get many different types of sales, parking, and then the loan or ticketing, and so many different types of product, even taxi service. So therefore, this is one of the way to we are now is connecting to our customers. I think the most of the telco companies in the world is doing this way, but this is I would like to say that Mobicom Group, one of the telco companies in Mongolia, we also doing exactly same as the other countries doing this business. So therefore, I would like to all that the foreign investors and then the business partners to come to Mongolia to work with us. And then we are now is one of our, for example, our company objective is that the partnership collaboration. So which is we would like to drive more the partnership concept into our company. Seems first question is coming. What kind of partnership Mobicom would like to develop? Well, so for example, now in our businesses now is we are focusing 4 domains, and then the enterprise domains. So we eager to work with the partnership, especially to bringing a new technology into Mongolia. So and now as we are working with AWS and clouding is very much the very hot topic. And if someone has the blockchain technologies and then the blockchains that the ideas, so and also we want to eager to work. And also that our fintech business. Fintech is now is that just the few of them we are now is launching. So besides that, the brokerage and then the international the market and then the wealth management. So these kind of things are very much open to cooperate with anyone. So.
So we have second question. Yeah, in terms of mining, coal is your strongest area. How about crude oil? Who is developing those fields?
So thank you for the question. So mining is basically Mongolia is a mining dependent country, and coal is the strongest area, yes. But because of the green development and Paris Agreement, we have to, let's say, gradually lean away from that. And so we are companies are increasingly introducing clean technologies. So how about crude oil? We have reserves in, it's called Tornat province, basically, and which is towards the east, yeah, and on the border with China. So a couple of Chinese companies are developing there. Also, we have big investment from India. Also, the Indian government and Mongolian government together are building a oil refinery as well. And so there's a big potential there, and we can connect you with Petrovis, for example, who are developing oil fields. And especially now because of the ongoing war in the Middle East, because they provide 20% of the global oil, and that will have sort of snowballing effect on our economy as well. And today we've been receiving information from our Ministry of Economic Development. So if the key prices keep rising, then it will add 20% of inflation for the common customers, let's say, yes.
So we have one question to Saruul. So what can you say about the banking and NBFI industries, the stability and growth opportunities? This question is from Lakshan.
So it says, how about the banking sector and risk and compliance space of Mongolia? So we have about 12 banks that are licensed from the central bank, and we have systemically important 5 banks, right? And the banking sector is increasing. However, the average business loans are quite high, let's say 12 to starting at 17% that is at the banking level and goes into 44, 48 sometimes percent the rate of loans that are provided by NBFIs. But NBFIs basically cater to small scale customers, where banks cater to big corporations. And risk compliance space, they are regulated by the central bank, and also we have upgraded our rating, yeah, B minus, I said earlier. So after that, the banks are increasingly getting loans. I think 4 to 6% of loans from international banks like EBRD, so on, for on lending on green economy. So next question, in terms of partnership, how it works for foreign investors? Can investors use the stock market to drive in capital? Yes, very good question. Thank you. We have a foreign trade agency which also works on investment attraction, and they operate a one-stop, let's say, shop to open the company JV in Mongolia. And according to their recent data, it takes up to 5 days, because it's all electronic, to register a company in Mongolia. However, obviously, if you invest large amounts of money, it was on my presentation above 145 million US dollars, then you could enter into a stabilization agreement with the government. But I believe there are only very few companies who have reached that agreement. And the stock market is another very interesting market, and it takes only 5% of financial markets, the rest are banking. currently the drive is basically to attract more investors, because floating rate is only 3 to 5% depending on the year, which is, can you imagine trading only 5% of stocks? It is kind of liquidity is an issue, yes, but the government is working to list more of state-owned enterprises, and the Chamber of Commerce has an agreement with Financial Regulatory Commission as well to help top 100 companies of Mongolia to go public. So if they raise up to $2 billion US dollars, the approval process will be only 10 days. And so far, we have 2 companies who have raised money on, it's basically a closed, it's not an open stock exchange, but it's a closed exchange. And Shonghla and APU, one is a petroleum company, and another is beverage company, and Su as well, the dairy production company, raised this amount of money. If we talk more about stock market, I mean, it's also a big issue, because, green bonds and so on, so we can talk, I think it's a topic for a separate session. And if it's possible, I think together with CACCI, we can also have another webinar and invite banking professionals and capital markets professionals to explain more about how capital markets are developing in Mongolia. Last point there is that we have established a partnership agreement, 10 years ago with London Stock Exchange. So we operate under Millennium IT, which is a London Stock Exchange IT. And the idea was to basically list state-owned companies in Mongolia, and international investors come to Mongolia to trade those big state-owned companies, which include mining companies, energy companies, and so on. So, to establish Joby Peralta, to establish a successful presence in Mongolia, would you recommend forming joint ventures or local partnerships? And are there specific industries where this approach is particularly effective? Yes, thank you for this question, Joby. So we invite companies to establish joint venture companies because, as Onumbat said, we have only a community of 3.5 million people, and trust and sort of local partnerships play a strong role in developing a business in Mongolia. And so, especially this is true for mining or Kashmir business. We see a lot of people trying to come into Kashmir business as well, and light industry, yes. And so in any industry, joint ventures and local partnerships are essential. I would say from what I've been seeing in Mongolian business arena, and selecting trusted partnership is just essential in leading business here. But also, we don't want to cater to Mongolian separate answer. We don't want to cater to Mongolian customers, right? As I said, the businesses are invited to establish JVs here and take advantage of our free trade agreements, i.e., because of Trump taxes and volatile tax arena internationally. We would like companies to take advantage of free trade agreements and produce here and export to using our FTAs. And in pipeline, we're now entering the 5th round of negotiations of free trade agreement with South Korea. And the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is also working on a separate free trade agreement with China as well. But I guess that will take a bit longer time.
Yeah, so we have a question to Mr. Onumbat Mobicom. Yeah, at the Q&A box. Yeah, can you see it? With many businesses in Mongolia embarking on their digital transformation journey, does Mobicom have any program or services to address the issue of cybersecurity? So it's in the Q&A box.
Okay, so I couldn't see that, but about the cybersecurity, yes, we do
Yeah.
have. Yes, and Mobicom already prepared our the initial cybersecurity SaaS product into our the local SMEs. So, if someone have that the more business expansion on the cybersecurity, so we are most welcome. And Mobicom, we do have that own the SOC unit, and based on our the own SOC unit. So we are now enhancing that not only internal usage, and also we are preparing that external usage product. So yeah.
Saruul was right. We have many questions regarding the banking sector.
Foreign banks application to Mongol Bank. So it seems that Oleg knows already the let's say dialogue or dilemma, what's going on in Mongolia, whether to allow entrance of international banks or not. So there's a legal reforms are going around that area, and it's been actively discussed at the moment. And the public believes that if we invite international banks to Mongolia, then we will have a possibility to reduce the interest rates long term. But also, so there is a concern of what types of collateral these international banks can take, because we don't want to be collateralizing the mining licenses and so on. So because this is a very sensitive issue for Mongolian public in general. So I think we have to closely watch how this will develop, and we believe this legal environment will be the law will be approved within this spring session that ends around 10th of July. So before that date, I think we will see some progress. Yes, thank you. So it says, sorry, how big is the tourism industry in Mongolia? Does the government have any program to promote the sector? Yes. So tourism industry is one of the, let's say, export promotion areas. Yeah. So it's export because the tourists come and bring foreign currency to Mongolia. And we've been announcing this program, million tourists a year. So last year we received 850,000 tourists in Mongolia, and increasingly these are from Southeast Asia and China. Yes, so it's a big industry that is very much, let's say, not subsidized, but very much supported by the government. And also now we have in pipeline a tax reform, tax law. So I think that I know that tax law also will have some, let's say, concessions for tourist companies in Mongolia. Yes, and also the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has a big program, and also our Ministry of Culture and Culture has a big program of it's called Go Mongolia, that is promoting international travelers to Mongolia.
I would like to say thank you all for this active participation today. And if we left the questions not answered, so we will please come back to us.